Retro Queen Bee Art. Let's be busy in art. Welcome. I am Vicky, and I am producing this video to show you how to use a gel plate to put acrylic paint onto a large file folder. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you. Here I am placing acrylic paint onto a gel plate. Now the particular folder I'm working on is my Christmas folder, and I had already layered a bunch of paint on it, and I wanted it to be more red in color. Red and green, Christmassy. So I also added some transparent white, and this particular red paint is a fluid paint. So I had extra paint, so I start completing another file folder. I wanted to add some white transparency to the folder after the red, just to calm it down a little bit, but then in the transparency you can see the colors below it and then still see a white. Then I wanted to add gold, and this particular technique that I did here after rolling it out, it didn't do much. So then I thought, well, I can make marks on the jelly plate and then see if I can transpose these gold marks to my folder, and it worked. I was so happy. I was like jumping with joy because it looked so cool, and it just put the finishing touch on my Christmas cover for my journal. And then I wanted to add some more to the inside, and so the paint dries pretty fast here, so you have to work as fast as you can. It is a gold paint. It is called Treasure Gold, and it's a folk art paint. I really like the gold in this folk art paint. I'm on my second bottle. That's to tell you how much I like it. And I'm just pointing out a little bit of things. I'm not quite sure. I'm seeing it with my eye, and I'm enjoying the look. So I decided I want some gold on the tab, and I'm touching to see what's wet, what's dry, because if it's already dry on the gel plate, and here I find a little hair, if it's already dry on the gel plate, then it won't print. Okay, so now I'm going to start a new folder. And when you start a new paint folder, you want to start with all your opaque paints that are thicker, to start giving it a ground color of paint. You can choose any colors you want. I'm using a black white, and here a red. But as long as they are opaque on the bottom folder, and then you start using more translucent paints, which are your fluid paints, and you can kind of see through the bottom. so you can see through the layers of paint. Here I decide to add some green and red and gold. And I'm doing one, I'm opening up the file folder and doing one at a time because between paints, which I don't show you here, but between gel plate applications of paint, I do dry the paint with my hair dryer. And notice how I'm kind of like swiggling the paint around because I want it to have pattern when it hits the file folder. And you can kiss the file folder any way you want to on the plate. These large file folders are 14 inch by 9 inch, and I got these at a thrift shop, a whole big box of them. So I wanted to use them up, and I've been trying when I get to find ideas, and if I do find an idea, I bring it to my art room. Now this technique I learned from Robin McClendon. It's MC, then capital CLENDON. Robin, ROBYN. And she's a mixed media gel plate artist on YouTube. And I learned this technique from her, but I also put my own twist to it. And I did discover when you do file folders like this, not one will be alike. There's no way you can duplicate this. And then you have pretty file folders, covers that you can either use for journals or to store your papers in. Or you could cut them up and use them, although it would make pretty cutouts of different sections to use in your collage art. So as you see, I just continue to kiss the plate with the file folder, and it takes many coats of acrylic paint. And I stop when I feel like the look is pretty to my eyes, because it's something that I want to enjoy looking at. And so that's what I do. I decided not to use music in this particular video. The reason is I keep getting these, well, they don't take my video off. YouTube doesn't take my video off the channel, but they keep giving me a copyright on the music, but then they accept it. So I'm not quite sure what that all means, and I don't want something to happen to my channel. I thought that the music that is available to me was not copyrighted and I could use it on YouTube. So I thought for this one I would not use music. And here I'm patting and putting more paint onto my gel plate. Notice I just build up the gel plate. Here I'm putting that translucent white on again. Really like how that works, and you can see through it to the bottom layers of paint. Getting closer. I really don't count how many layers I put on. I just do it. So I am satisfied with the front two covers. Now I'm going to the back two covers of the folder and beginning to put opaque paint, black, white, to start building a foundation on the two file folder covers. Remember, between gel plates, you must dry the acrylic before kissing it again to the plate. Just keep kissing. And then even if you let it if you let the folder stay on a little bit, like here you can see I'm really patting hard, allowing the folder to stay a little bit longer. It will pick up the gel paint on that's left, that has dried. And that also gives an interesting texture and colors to your work that you're doing. Or I should say painting, because this is really addicting. I could make lots of these. Kissing the plate. And sometimes I use a towel, paper towel, if some of the paint got weird looking, and I think it's weird looking, I will dab it with a paper towel on my folder just to smear it a little more and pick up maybe some of the paint. Of course, you can always do different colors and change things you don't like that way. Now here I'm starting to bring some more bright colors into the picture. I'm trying to match the other two covers, but it is very almost impossible to match. But I've got the same colors, but there will be they'll be different. Well, I guess what I'm saying is the same colors, but it's different when you put it on the folder. That's what I'm trying to say. Sometimes also I will use, I'll just roller off and the beginning parts. When I'm beginning, I'll just roller off on the folder. Because it really doesn't matter. Eventually, you put so much paint on there that it's very abstract and very pretty to the eye. Eventually, I get most of the paint off the gel plate onto the folder. before I add a new color. Now I added some green and white, and I'm going to place onto the file folder covers. These are more of a fluid paint now that I'm working with on top of the opaque paint. So you can just transition whenever you feel like it's time. That's kind of how I do it. I look at my folder and I think, okay, it's time to transition. I've got a background now of opaque paint. I just apply all this acrylic paint directly onto the folder. It stays nicely. The folder stays straight. I don't use any kind of medium under the folder. Or on top of the folder, I should say, any, medium from Golden, a fluid medium, to think that might help the paint stick better to the folder. But it's really not needed. The folder just really allows this paint to just stick to it. I thought I would show you the whole process of one envelope because, I am doing lots of paint here to make this particular design. Just building up paint layers and paint layers. I'm not even sure how many because I don't count. I just tend to look with my eyes and just know when I'm done. So if you would like to only do 3 layers, you could do opaque and then do a fluid and do a translucent. You can also add gold or copper. Now this particular one I'm working on now, I thought of copper as usually I kind of like that copper on top. After I'm done with the folders, I'll add some copper. And it is also a fluid paint. It's so pretty. But I did not add it to this one, so I will go back and add it. Here I am painting on some red. And you've seen that in previous sections of the video. It does add a different look, a different style to the paint. Now, one thing on my folders, I don't like lines, and so if I get lines, I will paint over them with the gel plate until they've vanished. There's something about me with paint and lines, it's not what I like. So here you see I do use a wax medium on top of my folders so they don't stick. And these are the folders that I made. This folder and this folder I made before this video. Thank you.